Out they went out December 8th and got their equipment. However, I'm still very unclear as to how everything took place. And the fact is, I was out of state. My daughter had been listed missing, and she was found in a hospital due to sex trafficking. And when I went down to, when I was away trying to find my missing daughter, the town of Anson, Maine put a condemnation notice on my home and claimed that I didn't live there. Then I was told that my meter box was removed on December 8th, that they had received a call to have the equipment removed from the house, and that they reached out to me in regards to it, and that's all that I remember being clear information given to me. The rest of it is very unclear as to who called to have my power disconnected, because again, my home was condemned during the time that I was on a missing person search and out of state. Everybody knew that I lived in my home. Everybody knows that I was still living in my home. I had a house sitter as well as the same sitter checking my mail, checking my home. She was feeding my livestock. And she went up there one morning to check everything, and my home was listed as being condemned. And then not even whenever, this is what we're trying to find out, when did they burn my home down? Because somebody ordered for my power to be cut. It wasn't me, because I didn't even know that they had burned my home. So I'm trying to find out. December 7th is when I was told CMP had contact with somebody in regards to trying to contact me. And then on December 8th, they went and picked up the equipment. My question is, was my house still standing on that day, or was it burned down?
I'm not exactly sure if I have an answer for that particular question because you have reached the enrollment department. So my next question to you is if you need to reactivate it.
Oh no, I don't need to reactivate it. I need to get the information as to who called, when the call was made to request my power be turned off and the equipment to be removed, and what the notes are on my account.
That was issued to pull your meter and take a look to see what that particular work order entailed. Allow me a moment.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hi, Priscilla. My name is Kim, and I'm calling in regards to my power that had been disconnected without my acknowledgement. And it happens to be that the town where I was living condemned my home while I was away on a missing person search and never made me aware of it. However, after that, somebody contacted and asked for the removal of my power. And so it's noted to me that on December 8th, the equipment was removed, like the meter box and such. But I'm wondering if you can tell me by looking through the notes if my house was still standing or if they had already burned it, because they condemned my home without my acknowledgement and then turned around and burned it within days after.
Oh, goodness, Kim. It sounds like you have a lot going on there. I'm so sorry to hear that. You're right over there. And they should be able to tell you a little bit more maybe about the status of the home and such. Do you mind holding for just a moment?
Thank you kindly.
Okay, thank you.
So knowing that I wasn't contacted at my home phone number or my email address is a great concern. I want to know who made the phone call to get my power disconnected. What number? You know, who has the right to call and tell them to disconnect my power when I didn't even have a notice that my home was being condemned, leaving me homeless? And then they burned my home down without me knowing about it and took my livestock. So somebody called and had my power disconnected, condemned my home, burned it down, and stole my livestock and left me homeless. And then another factor to that is the town office general assistants told the American Red Cross that I wasn't living in my home when it got condemned, which was a lie. I wasn't at home the day that it got condemned, but I hadn't moved out. So I'm not eligible for any kind of assistance to get out of the cold.
I'm just a little confused here. Who owns the home?
The taxes were in. He acknowledged on May 2nd to the sheriff's department that I was buying the home when they came to the home. And it ended up being that they turned around and had the power cut off, condemned the home, and burned it. The whole key factor is that the Somerset Sheriff's Department has acknowledgement. They were told face to face by Philip himself on May 2nd in the driveway of my home that I was his niece and that I was buying the home. And they left at that note. They had no business doing this to me.
Does Philip own the home?
Philip he is alive. May 2nd, he was at the home with me. He met me at the home. And then the sheriff's department showed up, and he verified to the sheriff's department that I was his niece and that no, he wasn't moving in there, that I was buying it. And then that gave them confirmation that yes, I was his niece, I was buying the home. That was on May 2nd, 2021, documented. And then a few weeks later, the neighbors had called in a complaint and had him arrested. And then all of a sudden, that was at Memorial Weekend, and I've been calling all these months to the Somerset County Jail, and they wouldn't get us in through to phone conversation. I wasn't receiving mail back, and the next thing I know, I get a picture video of my home being burned, and I'm trying to find out when this happened. I don't have a copy of anything because everything was supposed to be emailed to me and I haven't received anything. And that's why, again, I'm in question. Who made this call to...
Because you haven't answered my question.
That I called about. The question that I called about is who called and had my power turned off. It's not in question who owned the home, ma'am. The question is who had the power turned off, and was the home still standing or was it burned to the ground during the time that the power equipment was removed on December 8th? That's the question that I called and asked you, and that's the question, the answer that you are obligated to answer. And if you can't do that, I'm going to request that you put me through to a supervisor that can. And I'm going to make you aware that I have ADA, and I'm going to now record this call. So I'm asking you again, ma'am, can you give me the answer as to who called and had my power turned off on December 7th to my home?
It looks like we can't legally tell you who took over the service, but we can't give any information about that. But I can tell you the time frame. It was looks like December 7th.
December 7th, and the equipment was taken on December 8th. So was the house burned or not?
No idea, ma'am.
Nothing's
documented in regards to the house being burned or not.
And why is it that you can't tell me? It's illegal for somebody to have my power turned off. So why can't you tell me?
No, it's not. Anybody can take over anybody's power, ma'am. If you wanted to take over your neighbor's power, you certainly could do it. And we can't refuse anyone the right to power.
Oh, that's funny. I was refused power and service for 60 days. Put me through to a supervisor, please.
Certainly. Would you like to pay on your bill?
Ma'am, you're on audio record and I'm not paying on anything. So put me to a supervisor, please, and you're being shared to YouTube.
I'm being sent to YouTube?
Yes, ma'am. I told you you were on audio record and you're being sent to YouTube.
So we will send you over to our attorney.
Thank you.
Just one moment, please.
Thank you. That's what I wanted.
To go to an attorney?
Yep, exactly. Because I have issues with CMP. And you're on audio record, ma'am, being shared to YouTube. You're already aware of that.
Okay, so we've been on hold now for 13 minutes waiting for the attorney that she said she was going to connect me with, and she didn't do so. You do hear I'm still on hold, right? Okay. So that's still CMP. So now they got some shit that they're going to try to hide. Is that what the story is? She already knew she was being audio recorded, and I already told her she was being shared to YouTube. And she wanted to get snotty about it, so I'm getting smart about it. Central Maine Power. Have a nice day.